I would say I'm really in awe of everyone, and this award is not individual. It's not for me. It's for first and foremost for the Palestinian people who are enduring a genocide, enduring basically ethnic cleansing and everything now back in Palestine, wherever they are, whether West Bank, Gaza, or anywhere in that land.
I came here to occupy the Hebron and Khalil to meet my good friend Issa Amro, whose house has been under attack by settlers and occupation forces for days. They tried also to set fire into his house. I came to visit him. They don't allow him in. They don't allow him to get back to his home, to his own home.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to the Struggle Video News. Last week we featured the Courage Award ceremony for Dr. Abu Safia, who was abducted by Israel at the end of December 2024. This week, also from the Palestine Museum US, on November 22nd, Promoting Enduring Peace gave Mahmoud Khalil its Dorothy Day Award.
It is my great honor today to present the very first Promoting Enduring Peace Dorothy Day Award to most courageous activist for justice and liberation for all, the Palestinian student activist Mahmoud Khalil. Promoting Enduring Peace is a peace and justice organization founded in New Haven in 1952 by Dr. Jerome Davis, with the original goal of opposing the ongoing war, imperialism, and militarism of the Cold War. Our organization's name, Promoting Enduring Peace, emphasizes the goal of not just opposing wars and acts of military aggression as they arise, but addressing the underlying conditions of injustice, systemic violence, and inequality that lead to war, and to finding solutions that lead towards an everlasting peace on and with Earth. Along with our long history of peace activism and more recently climate justice activism, we are known for our Gandhi Peace Award, which has been awarded to peace and justice activists ranging from Eleanor Roosevelt to Cesar Chavez, Daniel Ellsberg, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who tragically was assassinated before having the chance to receive his award. More recently, the Gandhi Peace Award was bestowed upon Marwan Barghouti, the founder of the Palestinian boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement to end the Israeli occupation of an apartheid system within Palestinian land. While the Gandhi Peace Award is more of a lifetime achievement award, recently we decided that recognition of the efforts of newer activists who are taking brave acts of resistance against the current onslaught of injustice are also warranted. To that end, the Dorothy Day Award is a new award created to honor activists of today who face imprisonment, detention, deportation, or other acts of state violence, and great danger for their courageous principled stance for peace and justice. Named after the renowned social justice activist, journalist, and founder of the Catholic Workers' Movement, Dorothy Day, who faced multiple arrests and prison sentences for her dedicated, direct action and acts of civil disobedience on behalf of civil rights, women's rights, peace, and economic justice. This award carries a $1,000 prize and is given to an activist of today who demonstrates an equal, unwavering commitment to the struggle for peace and justice in the face of such brutal suppression. In addition to the creation of the Dorothy Day Award, I am also very pleased to announce that we are also in the process of creating a new award that will honor the efforts of grassroots, on-the-ground mutual aid activists, and that the first recipient of this award is Anas Arafat, a local Gazan community activist, lawyer, and co-founder and leader of Plant the Land Team, a Gaza-based mutual aid team. And this award will be for his unflagging efforts to provide food, medicine, water, blankets, warm clothing, toys, and other basic necessities to families in Gaza throughout the Israeli genocide in Gaza and beyond, even in the face of his own entire family of origin being killed by an Israeli bombing of his family home last July. Today, we gather to honor the bravery and commitment of Palestinian student activist Mahmoud Khalil. Mahmoud Khalil was born to Palestinian parents in a refugee camp in Syria, driven out of their native Palestine by the Israeli colonization and occupation of their homeland. Even before leaving Syria, Mahmoud was bravely organizing protests against the Assad regime during the Syrian Revolution, but was forced to flee Syria after two of his friends were arrested and detained there. Ironically, he faced brutal criminalization of political dissent and detention yet again upon relocating to the USA, where he came to study at Columbia University's School of International and Public Affairs, earning a Master's of Public Administration in December of 2024. Despite having been granted lawful permanent resident status in the United States that same year, when Khalil became an organizer and spokesperson for the Gaza Solidarity Encampment at Columbia, which called for Columbia to call for a ceasefire in Gaza and to divest from all companies linked to Israel and or profiting from Israel's occupation, colonization, and ethnic cleansing in Palestine, he suddenly became a target of the Trump administration's brutal persecution of immigrants. Despite not having been arrested during the protests or accused of any illegal actions, on March 8, 2025, ICE agents arrested Mahmoud at his Manhattan apartment, citing a provision of the Immigration and Nationality Act and alleging false information on his 2024 green card application, which he denied. Secretary of State Marco Rubio claimed that his activism harmed U.S. policy, because apparently the U.S. government believes that harming genocidal foreign policy, not harming and committing genocide against humans, is a crime. Khalil was detained for 104 days at the LaSalle Detention Center in Jena, Louisiana, during which time Mahmoud's first child, a boy he and his wife named Dean, was born, causing Khalil to miss his son's birth despite repeated requests for a temporary release to attend. A heart-wrenching letter Mahmoud wrote to his son on Father's Day of that year showed how, even during such a moment of personal pain, his thoughts were always with the oppressed, as he described the sorrow of the other fathers detained with him who could not be with their children on Father's Day, and the fathers and mothers in Palestine who were losing their children every day to Israeli genocide there. He first met his son through a glass window before a court granted him permission to finally hold him. Mahmoud's arrest and subsequent detention sparked protests across the USA, with support from progressive political figures who called his arrest and detention politically motivated. When Promoting Enduring Peace heard of Mahmoud's situation, we felt very strongly that we wanted to help. We created the Dorothy Day Award to draw attention to his efforts and to the injustice being committed against him and his family. But because he was still being detained, we had no way to give him the award before now. So we organized a press conference last April to announce the award, featuring speakers from Jewish Voice for Peace, the Catholic Workers Union movement, and Martha Hennessy, Dorothy Day's own granddaughter. Mahmoud decided that the $1,000 that come with the award should be given to the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees, otherwise known as UNRWA, which needed all the support it could get after the Trump administration signed an executive order freezing all US funding of UNRWA. Last June, after much long organizing by lawyers in Solidarity and Solidarity activists, finally a federal judge released Mahmoud on bail and issued a preliminary injunction against the U.S. government for detaining him on foreign policy grounds. Currently, the federal government is appealing that decision and attempting to deport Mahmoud to either Syria or Algeria, where his mother was born. When we discovered that Mahmoud had been released, we decided to organize this event to honor him properly. Mahmoud is currently suing the United States government itself on the grounds that that this was unlawful imprisonment, and he also continues to assert that he will not stop speaking up for Palestine even if they threaten to kill him. We commit to organizing and advocating for Mahmoud's freedom, as well as the freedom of all political prisoners and all those targeted for detention and deportation. We continue to assert that it is no crime to protest genocide.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna read it.
No, I read that.
To the audience, I'll read it.
Yeah. Now I will do it.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, let me do that. Well, thank you so much. Do you want me to now speak or?
You can just that mic.
You want this?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. First, for this warm welcome. And second, it's important thing. So, yeah, just like for honoring me, and this is absolutely, I would say, I'm really in awe of everyone, and this award is not individual. It's not for me. It's for first and foremost for the Palestinian people who are enduring a genocide, enduring basically ethnic cleansing and everything now back in Palestine, wherever they are, whether West Bank, Gaza, or anywhere in that land. And second, to the courageous students, whether at Columbia University or across U.S. colleges, who are also, unfortunately, enduring a similar violence, a state violence, and institutional violence from their own institutions. And of course, I mean, I'm honored to be here, like in a place where also we're remembering and we're advocating for Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, a courageous doctor whose only crime is actually caring about his own people. His only crime is literally wanting children to be healed. His imprisonment by a genocidal state, the state of terror, the state of Israel, that's now holding him up just for that crime, quote unquote. So it's really, you know, like I always consider myself one of the lucky Palestinians who were able to leave that war and here pursue a career, a life away from genocide, away from ethnic cleansing, away from occupation. That's why I feel that it is my duty to continue to advocate for my people. It's not something that I should be honored for or I should be thanked for. Actually, like it's really the bare minimum that any of us should do in the time where hundreds of thousands of people are being killed and maimed by the hour. Nonetheless, I really appreciate this community, this very beautiful community, and promoting enduring peace as well. And I can't also tell you how much the support especially from this community, when I was in detention, I would receive every week letters organized by this organization, from even like people telling me they are in rallies in New Haven or in around here, and that gave me so much support, so much hope. That what actually kept me going, because the U.S. government gave me a choice of leaving tomorrow and you don't have to be detained, or just languish in detention until we deport you. Yet when I saw this support from so many people around the world who felt that my story is their story, who felt that by coming after me, they are actually coming after every single one of us, and refuse to be silent, I found myself in a place where I can't remain silent. I should actually push again against this machinery of injustice, and that's how we eventually made it. And my release, although maybe we think that the law may vindicate us, but we know that we make the law, the people make the law, and we should always continue to advocate to get our rights, because those in power, the greed and just the power is blinding them, and they would do everything in their power to take any rights from us. And I've been asked to write also the description, and of course, like I'm really happy that I'm getting an award in the name of Dorothy Day, a person who sacrificed her life for social justice, for ending wars, for ensuring that we are all equal. So in the spirit of Dorothy Day, the journalist, reformer, and founder of the Catholic worker movement, who was often imprisoned for her peace, civil rights, and labor union support, we present this award to Mahmoud for his outstanding leadership during the protest at Columbia University against the genocide in Palestine. So really an honor, and I'm looking forward to the conversation with Stanley, where we can talk more. Also, like your questions, I don't want to take much space here. I really like more engaging conversation. But really, thank you so much, everyone.
There was a big protest in London for Palestine. Here's coverage from Middle East Eye.
Tens of thousands have taken to the streets of London today in the rain, again to protest against what they call Israel's apartheid regime. Now this protest comes amid a ceasefire. However, since the beginning of this ceasefire, over 350 Palestinians have been killed, leaving protesters to wonder whether this is indeed a ceasefire at all.
My name is Zainab, and I'm here protesting today for the liberation of Palestinian people, because they deserve the right to live, and Israel is a terrorist state. I think that this ceasefire is just for show. You can see that Palestinian people have been living under occupation for years, and I think that there needs to be true reparations put in place for this. A ceasefire is not enough, and there is so much rebuilding to do, and we have to show up as people for the Palestinian people globally. Just join a community. There's so many communities. Everything is about finding a group of people, even if it's just in your local community. You don't have to always come to London. If you can protest in your local town, everything makes a difference, even on social media.
The war in Gaza hasn't ended at all. They've destroyed it completely, and they call that peace. It's not peace. People are going to be living in winter. It's going to be cold, and Israel's still bombing the place. So as many people as possible should come out and demonstrate against that. So that includes me today. The whole thing's awful, it's dreadful, it's pointless, and it's against everything that any decent human being stands against. Well, I think this is going to be Keir Starmer's Iraq war, and their absolute lack of action on this has been truly mind-boggling. I just don't understand it. Don't seem to be taking any notice of what not just the international community is saying, but the population of this country, where they're supposed to be hopefully setting some sort of standard for us. And I'm so confused by that aspect of it. I don't understand why they continue to support and arm Israel.
I'm holding the Palestinian flag and Chelsea Football Club flag because I'm a Chelsea fan, and I'm also a member of the Football Against Apartheid and Genocide, and we campaign at Wembley Stadium for all the big matches. I think it's really important that FIFA and UEFA kick Israel out of their tournaments, because this what they're doing is genocide and it shouldn't be allowed. They did that to Russia, so there's no reason why they can't do that for Palestine, and they should be kicking people out, kicking Israel out.
Well, we're on this march today for the 6 young hunger strikers here in British prisons. We want to see them get justice, we want to see them get a fair trial, and we want their case to be brought to the public. They've been hunger strike now for nearly 30 days, and the BBC and the British media completely ignored them. This is wrong. These young people opposing the genocide in Gaza has taken action and done it in our name. They're doing what the British government should be doing. They're actually opposing genocide, and international law supports them in that. The British government need to meet and discuss what the demands are, and the demands are very reasonable. These young people are heroes, and they're kind of political prisoners, that they're in prison for doing what the government should be doing. It's Keir Starmer and David Lammy who should be in prison and gone to The Hague, because they have aided and abetted a genocide in Gaza, and that's absolutely shocking.
One of the marchers talked about 6 hunger strikers. They are supporters of Palestine Action, a group that Britain's Labour government has labeled terrorists. Any kind of support for Palestine Action can get you a hefty jail sentence. 1,200 people have been arrested in the so-called British democracy. One group that took part in the protest was CND, the Venerable Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, which started in Britain many years ago. On its site, it wrote, "Join us to mark the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people and to demand an end to British support for nuclear-armed Israel's occupation and apartheid." Qasim Barghouti, the son of prominent Palestinian political prisoner Marwan Barghouti, wrote in a social media post on December 4th that his father had been severely beaten and abused in prison. "I woke up to a phone call from a recently released Palestinian prisoner this morning. He told me, 'Your father was brutally beaten. They broke his teeth and ribs, cut off parts of an ear, and fractured his fingers gradually for their amusement.'" Qasim Barghouti wrote, "What am I supposed to do? Who do I turn to? We're living this nightmare every single day. My God, have mercy on us. My father is now 66 years old. My God, where will this generation find its strength?" A lawyer for Barghouti asked prison officials about this report of torture. The officials didn't give the usual denial. Instead, they flatly refused to talk to him. This is Barghouti when he entered a courtroom some decades ago. This picture is from a screen grab of a video posted by Israeli National Security Minister Ben-Gvir in August. It was posted on Ben-Gvir's Twitter page, and in the video he berates Barghouti. The video was reposted on a Saudi site, Al Arabiya. Realize Barghouti is 66. To me, he looks 80. A group of over 200 cultural figures have called for Barghouti's release. They include Mark Ruffalo and Javier Bardem, singers Sting, Annie Lennox, Brian Eno, Chinese artist and dissident Ai Weiwei, and actors Benedict Cumberbatch, Cynthia Nixon, Stephen Fry, and Peter Beinart and Paul Simon. Now, member of the Israeli parliament Ofer Cassif talks with Issa Amro on December 4th, and then tries again the next day when Amro is prevented from entering his own house.
Hello, I'm here with my good friend Issa Amro from Tel Rumeida, a neighborhood in occupied Hebron. And Issa will explain what has been going on recently with the attacks, assaults by the occupation forces and the settlers. Please.
Thank you, Ofer, for coming. I call everybody to come and watch what's going on in the West Bank. As Palestinians, we live with fear. We suffer from settler violence and terror, army aggression, restrictions. We don't have enough services, and we don't have a social life. They are making our life more and more difficult to force us to leave our houses. We are continuously attacked by soldiers and by settlers without any protection. So we call you all to come with Ofer and with many other friends from all over the world to make the occupation costly by exposing it.
I came here to occupy the Hebron and Khalil to meet my good friend Issa Amro, whose house has been under attack by settlers and occupation forces for days. They tried also to set fire into his house. I came to visit him. They don't allow him in. They don't allow him to get back to his home, to his own home. And you can see that the soldier, this criminal, opens wide the door so I will not be able to speak to Issa, to hide, but to make a block between the two of us. You can see that's how the occupation looks like. We shall never surrender. We shall fight together, Palestinians and Israelis, against the occupation until it ends.
And this photo of huge crowds in Hama, Syria, where the people celebrated the fall of the monstrous Assad regime just 1 year ago. Finally, some upcoming events. That's our program for today. See you next week. I'm Stanley Heller for the Struggle Video News.